Hello, welcome to this Q&A session in which we're going to be discussing postgraduate taught provision in the School of Arts, looking particularly at the MA Sound Arts, MA Social Sculpture and the new MFA. My name's Paul Whitty, I'm a Professor of Composition here at Oxford Brookes and I direct the Sonic Art Research Unit, which is an organisation that promotes experimental practices in sound arts and composition. We have an annual festival called Audiographed which takes place every March, which is one of our main events. So I'm just going to ask the guests to introduce themselves now.
So I'm Shelley Sachs. I'm Professor of Social Sculpture and Connective Practice at Oxford Brookes, and I also run the Social Sculpture Research Unit in Oxford Brookes. I work as a practitioner outside the university using similar strategies and methodologies, and inside the university doing similar things on the master's and doctoral programs.
Good afternoon, my name is Marcus Stefan. I am an associate lecturer on the MA in Social Sculpture, on which I was once a student myself. And I am now a research affiliate in the Social Sculpture Research Unit as well, so I am working closely together with Shelley on different projects and a few other people.
Hello, I'm Sally Hughes. I'm Programme Lead for Fine Art in the School of Arts, and I'm here to talk about our new programme at postgraduate level, the MFA.
Okay, thanks very much. I'm going to go through a few questions now. We've had a few questions. So I'm going to start off with a very general one, which I think is directed at you really, Shelley, which is about the MA in Social Sculpture. And I think maybe a year or two, someone's picked up on the fact that it was revalidated and actually it's perhaps changed a little bit over the last couple of years. Could you give us some idea of what the major changes have been during that time?
Yeah, so the first major change is kind of embodied in the name. It's now called Masters in Social Sculpture and Connective Practice. And what that does, that new name, is it emphasizes the emphasis that it's as much about looking to develop and understand what connective practice could mean in any discipline and any field as having primarily a relationship to the arts. So social sculpture was a term developed by Joseph Beuys, and often when people hear that, they think, aha, this is primarily about Beuys and that tradition. But the big development is it's really about the inner dimension of sustainability and work in the field of transformation as a whole, still with its arts background.
Thanks, Shelley. That's interesting because there's another question here particularly about Joseph Beuys,
yeah,
and about how much time perhaps you spend looking at his work. Or perhaps, as you just stated, it's about something broader than that.
Well, it is still, obviously, Beuys developed the term social sculpture, and many people who do the program come because they're familiar with Beuys, they love Beuys's work, but we only actually do one lecture on Beuys. But having said that, Beuys's theories and philosophies came from many places like Goethe and Schiller, and I've brought in theories from around the world, but Beuys still in a way has a huge research presence in the program because a lot of his theories have linked together with other theories, and which makes it very interesting. It's kind of now a global program, not just based in the background with Beuys.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Shelley. There's a question which maybe Marcus could answer here, which is about the course, the master's course, and it really relates to how much time is spent on your own practice versus seminars which might have other content.
Okay, so every week there are 2 dedicated days of taught programs, so that's Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And on those days we have both group sessions as well as tutorial time. So these are one-to-one conversations between a tutor and a student, or a collaboration between students. So the rest of the time is actually spent by the students working on their own practice. So it's more or less not quite a 50-50 balance, but more or less.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much. It might be worth now talking to Sally a little bit about the MFA, because we've had some questions about the course, really asking for more information about it, because it's a new course.
Yes, it is a new course, and we're very excited about it. The purpose of developing the MFA is so that undergraduates can continue on their practice to develop themselves as practicing artists within a theoretical background. It's designed to all of the modules. There are 2 practice-based modules and 2 theory-based modules. And then there's a professional experience module that runs alongside them that enables students to explore career areas that they might like to go into after they've completed the MFA programme. That's involved in aspects of curation or their own practice or group projects locally or in the region. All of the modules are compulsory, so there isn't a choice across the programme itself, but there's a lot of choice within the actual modules themselves. It can be studied full-time or part-time, and we're open for applications now and enrolling and starting in September. It's very much a studio-based, practiced MFA.
Okay. Well, it's interesting you say that, because there is a question here about admissions to the course, and this might go also for social sculpture too, which is about how much students need to provide in terms of a portfolio when they want to enter the course.
Yeah, well, there are 3 criteria. One is that they should have studied either fine art as an undergraduate or another programme in the creative industries. And the second area is that we are asking them to provide a portfolio with up to 20 individual pieces presented in the portfolio. And then the third criteria is to be able to demonstrate an enthusiasm for the fine arts more generally.
In a way it's quite different in social sculpture. That's clearly visible. We've got people on the program for the last 10 years already from many different kinds of backgrounds: farmers, doctors, anthropologists, management consultants. And really the main criterion, the application is important, the personal statement, but it's really through interview that we discover whether the person's really interested in exploring transformative practice and its relationship to the imagination. And people can come to that at any point in their life. So we don't ask for a portfolio. We look for some kind of skill and knowledge and real intense engagement in another disciplinary area or art. And the mix of people, therefore, on the social sculpture program is very interesting. At the moment, we've widened because of the new program, there's a strong emphasis on the kind of eco-social crises and development, and we've kind of widened the advertising to include journals and magazines and where people are coming from, say, development backgrounds.
Okay. Thanks very much, Shelley. Then there seems now to be a question which I could probably answer myself because it relates to the MA Sound Arts. And the question is, can you tell me about Audiograft? What is it and how do students get involved? Well, Audiograft is an annual festival of experimental sound art and composition. All of our master's students have an opportunity to get involved in that, either through helping to work on the festival, helping to run the festival. We had several students working with the installation team, for example, this year. But also, certainly whilst they're on the course or in the years following, we've always tried to engage our master's students as artists on Audiograft. So it's a really great chance for them to show their work. Often work that they might show at a final show might develop and become part of Audiograft in the following year. And the festival, it's been running for around 10 years now. It's grown a lot, and we tend to use venues in and around Oxford, which is great for kind of strange and curious nooks and crannies to perform sound art projects. Let's see what else we've got here now.
Maybe I could just say something
Shelley,
about the social sculpture platform, because like you've got Audiograft, we've got now, it's in its second year, encouraged by you, a social sculpture platform, which is really alumni, all the students who've been on the program over the last 10 years, masters, doctoral people and friends. They can each bring a guest. Last year it was 40 to 50 people. This year it looks like it's 60 people. And people can really come and share work and explore new research and propose projects, and we work together intensively for 3 or 4 days. And the other thing that we have in the program is we have twice a year a social sculpture initiative forum where current students, past students, MA, PhDs actually meet each other and explore further new collaborations. So it makes a kind of ongoing social sculpture community. It sounds similar to Audiograft, where people can keep on working together and not just drop off the end of the MA
fantastic.
when they finished into a kind of black hole.
Yeah, that's great. Just there's another question here about international students. Obviously, Sally, you won't be able to answer this question yet about the MFA because we don't know how our cohort are going to look.
We're happy to welcome them.
Yeah,
though.
of course, of course. But there's a question about how many international students usually study on the PGR courses, PGT courses.
Usually quite a lot. I remember one year we had 20 people in the room between sound art and social sculpture, and we discovered there were 14 different languages in the room. So I think that speaks for itself. And this year we've got 6 people out of 8 who finishing this year from different countries, as far apart as Turkey, Emirates, Ireland. Yeah, from all over people come. So I think
that's fascinating. Thanks very much, Shelley. We're just going to leave it there now. So thanks very much to our guests for coming along and talking about the postgraduate courses in the School of Arts. And we'll be back shortly with a discussion about